Antonio is not playing games with Alex right now. My boy's a little insecure, and he thinks Alex gonna take his baby girl. He's telling Alex, "Hey, be direct with me. Stop beating around the bush. You BSing right now. Let's get into it."
This year is my year. I may shed some tears cause I'm not supposed to be here. Bad bitch that showed me she cared, so why would I care?
What's good, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, rudeboitv. Y'all go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. I'm rudeboisos or Sosa Baby, whichever one you want to call me. We getting ready to review the Ultimatum, Season 2, Episode 5. Let's get it. So, this episode is interesting. It starts off with, last episode, Roxanne meeting Alex's parents. This episode starts off with Alex meeting Roxanne's parents. And how did that go? It was all right. You had the dad kind of, because they've been married for like 35, 38 years, and the dad was kind of basically just grilling Alex a little bit, asking him questions like why do you like her? Why are y'all attracted to each other? Alex is like, because she challenges me, and I guess it's like vice versa. He also asked, do you like, I guess Alex asked him what are the important things in a marriage, and he's just like, he told him like how you treat the in-laws. Like, we're gonna be part of your life. Like, we expect when we come over, you ain't gonna be by the TV watching football and not interacting with us like we there or whatever. You doing your own thing, not showing us any respect. That's disrespectful. I guess in Roxanne's past, she had those situations. I don't know if Antonio's on that type of energy. He doesn't look like he's that type of person, but who knows? But what other stuff was said? And it looks like Roxanne was really trying to get Alex to ask questions about her. But the dad asked, do you do the little things like open the door, open the car door, pull out the chair? And my boy Alex was like, yeah, I do that. And then Roxanne said, sometimes. Roxanne said sometimes, not all the time. And I told him that was important to me. And you can see the mom real quick say, what? Or whatever, like that's a big deal for them. And he's like, well, I guess if it's important to you, I'll work on it or whatever. And the dad was just like vice versa too. It was like you guys got to be able to be willing to work through like the hard times or whatever. That's all marriage is about. So, and it's like, come to find out, Alex was BSing that whole interview. Alex was saying all the right stuff, all the good things. And at the end of it, basically the dad was like, the mom asked, is this the one or whatever? Are you the one? And then the dad was like, that's a question for Roxanne. And then the dad was like, he is the one. And I think the dad asked him, would you date yourself? My boy Alex was stuttering. He was like, yeah, I think I'm a good guy and I'm caring. But yeah, I would say I'm the one. And then the dad Roxanne's dad was basically saying, I mean, I'll give you a above average passing grade on that answer. She said 3 of the past relationships Roxanne's been in, the dad asked that question and they failed, stuttered, and was like, hey, just stop it. But basically the dad gave the okay. When they did the toast, he was like a good guy. That shocked Roxanne. But that was that. Then you had Trey and Ryan meeting Ryan's brother and Ryan's brother's girlfriend. And I don't know why they didn't meet the parents. I don't know. The parents probably like who knows? They probably don't even deal with the whole concept of this show. Maybe probably not trying to deal with Trey. Like, they probably don't like that type of person for Ryan. Who knows? For many reasons. But it was just interesting that, okay, the parents ain't around for this. But basically, the girlfriend was the one kind of like grilling, kind of basically saying, this is a crazy experience for y'all. So could you see yourself walking away from Ryan? Y'all been together for so long. I mean, Ryan was asking Ryan, could you see yourself walking away from James? Y'all been together for 7 years. And she's just like, at this point, this experience has kind of shown me that, yeah, it's like, it like, I know what I want in a marriage, and it's like, I'm willing to walk away if he's not willing to give it to me. And the brother was like, are you sure you're willing to walk away? And the brother was like, so what is this like, now that you guys been together, what is this has this experience shown you what you guys need in a marriage or want? And Ryan was just like, basically, yeah, it's like I see all the good qualities in him, and it's like he's a good person, and it's like if James can't give me that, it's like I got to be able to move on. And she was just basically saying I feel like it's disrespectful that he made me give an ultimatum. And the brother's girlfriend was like, it's insulting that he hasn't asked you to marry him after this long. It's been 7 years, but they kind of it was a cool conversation. They basically were telling Ryan like this experience is changing you based off of her responses. Like we can see that you're growing from this, and the brother's girlfriend was basically telling like Trey if you end up with Ryan, you're a lucky person because Ryan's a cool girl. Basically gassing Ryan the whole time throughout that little interaction. But after that, it goes into the boys' night out and the girls' night out. The rest of the episode takes place with the boys' night and the girls' night out. So on the boys' night out, they all talk, and it seems like they're opening up. I guess it starts off with I think like, does it start off with James and Trey? I'm just talking about James and Trey, and then we'll go into Antonio and Alex. But James is basically telling Trey like, oh, like your girl seems to find an importance on being physical and intimate and stuff like that, and I think she want to have sex with me or whatever. I was like, what? Like, I think James is bent over on like, hey, I'm only trying to like, if I'm gonna do this with you, like, you better let me touch you, be physical with you. If you say it's not gonna be more than that, then I ain't gonna do anything. I'm trying to have, like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna have sex with you. I don't know. I feel like that's where he's at when he kind of said that. I was like, because we did not hear Raya. It did not seem like Raya said that. Raya constantly told him plenty of times that no. Like, it don't have to be sex, and I guess Raya also told him like it's probably not gonna go anywhere past like it's not gonna get that physical. So for him to come out and say that to Trey's face, Trey's like, that's interesting because Raya called me crying, which is another interesting thing. Why are they still calling each other and contacting each other? Like they should be totally locked in on their partner. When you still got that going on, that makes like the other person not able to fully dive into the experience. But he's basically saying, Ryan called me crying, saying that I think James thinks I wants to have sex with him, and now Trey's like, okay, that makes me have questions or whatever and stuff like that, and he's basically in the boys' night out telling Trey that, hey Trey, you're like, Ryan's not ready to get married, like she's not ready to get married, and then vice versa, you have Trey telling James that I'm having like this connection, this experience is really showing me what I want because like Ryan and Raya are completely two different opposites, and we are spending time and having a good connection. And he's basically he said something too that's interesting. I think he told James like he asked Raya, so at the end of this, if James asked you to marry him, and she said no. I don't know if the producers or whatever, they cut out something in between and kind of just put that no right there, but they threw in that no, and it was like, we ain't hear that. We ain't hear Raya say no, she wouldn't go back, but he had said that to him, so it was like this whole boys' night and girls' night out looked like it was just set up a lot of drama, like caused a little bit of issues. But he basically was saying that James basically was saying like, I feel like at the end of this, I will hop on one knee regardless, like, and tell Ryan everything she needs to know. I've been holding back, and it's like I forgot to say in the last episode, in the last review, but James admitted to Ryan that he's cheated on Ryan before. So I think he's never told her that. So I think that's holding him, like he's feeling guilt about that, and he was telling Trey that I need to clear some things up in our relationship before I take that step forward, because it's like those things kill me inside or whatever. So, and like Trey's like, why haven't you been comfortable all this time? But basically he's trying to say that like you have a wall. James basically trying to say he has a wall up and things like that, and Trey's just like, that's not even it, bro. Like Ryan just wants you to put her first. Like it's always been everything else, work or this like that. Ryan just wants you to put her first. She puts you first. So they have that little kind of interaction, and now this is all at the boys' night out, and then they have Alex and Antonio. So Antonio's kind of asking Alex, how do you feel about Roxanne? And she's like, she's cool people. She challenges me. It's like, but he also says it could be draining at times. Like, and Alex is like, maybe because you work so much and she works so much, that's why it could be draining. But he basically is not giving clear answers, and Antonio feels away. He's like, hey, Antonio's like, hey, you have to be clear right now. It's like, you're not being clear. You have to be clear or whatever. And Alex sees like he kind of is getting, like, Antonio's getting agitated, and he's like, I feel like he finds fuel in that, and he continues to instigate that and continues to act that way the rest of the night. So, he basically, Antonio on the other end is telling Alex that, yeah, I've tried to open up with Kat, and she doesn't go deep like that. She doesn't open up like that or whatever. But that situation happens. So then you flip over to the girl. You have and in this episode you see Antonio just being like, you could tell he's insecure, and he's realizing that he might lose his girl now, and he's not liking that, and it's because, like, hey, she found somebody that's exactly what the same person she is. So when you see the girls talking, you see, all right, Raya and Ryan talking, and Raya's just basically saying James was open the first 3 days, then he stopped being open, he doesn't give me hugs, he doesn't want to hold my hand. And Ryan's like, oh, that's interesting, because I didn't tell him he had to be like that at all in this experience or whatever. And she's just like, yeah, he's not diving deep into the experience at all, and it's like, it's robbing me of my experience, because I know, like, from what you're telling me, it sounds like Trey's all into experience. And Ryan actually asks Raya, could you see yourself, like, dating James after this? And Raya's like a straight no. Like, no, it's not going down. Which is like, hey, I don't think James can handle her either. Like, oh yeah, that don't look like that from the beginning. That didn't look like Raya's cup of tea. I feel like Brian, that was with Lisa, was her cup of tea. But on the other end, Ryan's saying Trey is this and that. It's like, we don't fight, we don't argue. It's a good experience. Everything's been cool. And basically, like, we want the same things. We want a house. We want kids. We want a family. And it's like, we don't have no arguments, no issues. And then Raya asks her, do you see yourself running off with James after this? And she's just like, it looked like she was going to say yeah, but she didn't want to say. She was like, I mean, it's hard. It looks like he really likes you, and that scares me or whatever. So I don't know. But she never really gave a straight answer or whatever. And then, so for Roxanne and Kat, basically Kat saying that like, it's so crazy because Antonio, everything he does, he's all about you, and he does for you. And I feel like, and that thing, and it's like, I don't think he gives himself enough credit, and he's always down on himself, and he's not much of a shithead as he used to be. So it's like, but he still feels like he's that person. And she was just basically saying, like, he's into UFOs and conspiracy theories and all that, and that stuff is like cool to me, that he cares about it and cares to express it to me. That's what Kat's saying. And Roxanne's like, I hate that shit. I hate it. I don't care about it. She was like, I don't like that part about him or whatever. And she was like, I'm trying not to shit talk him. But further on into the girls' night out, they had like a one-on-one conversation, and basically, no, let me backtrack. Roxanne's talking to Kat and was just saying that everything is good with Alex when all the girls are around. Like, we're like, it's cool. I work so much, she works so much, so we haven't really got too much time to like talk about deep things. And that's another thing that Roxanne was saying, like, they work so much though they haven't really got into deep conversation about certain things. But she also said something about if Alex was, no, she said, yeah, if Alex, she was like we're like, I wouldn't mind hooking up with him. Like, I'm open to hooking up with him. I'm open to a lot of things. And basically said that, like, I think that somebody asked is Alex open to those things? And she's like, yeah. If I asked him to hook up, he'd probably say yes or whatever. And it's like, damn, like probably would. I ain't gonna lie, he probably would. But at this point, it looks like she's feeling Alex. But then they have a one-on-one conversation later in the girls' night, and she's dogging Alex to Kat straight up. She's like he'd be a great guy if he could change, but he's just like his head is all up in the clouds. It's like he doesn't she was saying that he doesn't admire a woman's beauty. She asked him, does he tell you you're beautiful? He was like, oh, you're so pretty. And she was like, not really, just sometimes. And that's what Roxanne's like, she doesn't admire, like she doesn't feel like he admires a woman's beauty. And then she says that like there's little lies that he does. Like, this is what was funny because she was like, Kat asked what lies. She was like he when we're talking with my parents earlier, he was saying that he opens the door, pulls out my seat, and then Roxanne called him a bit ass. She said the B word, and then she said bit ass. When do you ever do that? So she kind of covered him when they were in front of her parents or whatever. But she was like, he does not do that, and it's like Kat's like, yeah, he doesn't do that. And early in the boys' conversation, he says he makes up with he makes up for the emotional with the physical. He's not as emotional or whatever, whereas Antonio's emotional, and Kat likes that about him or whatever. But so Roxanne's basically telling him like, yeah, he doesn't do any of that. She asked him, when you come home from work, does he stay up for you while you're driving home? Because he told me he doesn't, and that pissed me off or whatever. Because Antonio does that for me, and she's like, yeah, he doesn't do that or whatever. And basically say he puts himself on a pedestal, basically saying that it hurts me. She said Roxanne's like, I deal with women all the time and it hurts me to see you with somebody like that. But right now is the time where like we demand what we want, and if we don't, you leave him. If he's not giving you what you want, you need to leave him or whatever. So at this point, it's like she's dogging Alex, and it's making me think like, okay, you're dogging Alex the Kat, and Alex is dogging basically telling Antonio Roxanne like doesn't kind of appreciate you. It makes me feel like they're trying to set something up that they're trying to run with each other and like try to get their partners to not vibe with them or whatever, to vibe with their original partners. So it progresses into that night where Alex and Antonio are talking, and Antonio looks like he put him like to the side, like trying to be straight up with him, like stop beating around the bush, like what makes you like, what is your plan here? Like, is your plan to go back to Kat, leave with Roxanne, or what? And he's like, neither or whatever. And he's like, you're continue to dodge my. Antonio's like, you continue to dodge my questions. Like, why are you doing this? He's like, I mean, look, I don't know what you want. I don't know why you're asking these things. Why are you asking? And Antonio's like, because you're beating around the bush. He's is like, are you trying to spare me or you? And he's like, you could. And Alex is like, I'm trying to spare you. And he's like, you don't have to. You could talk shit to my face. You can like tell me about myself. Don't be afraid to criticize. He's been saying that from the beginning of the night. Don't be afraid to criticize me or whatever. And then he's like, Alex is like, basically like, Roxanne doesn't respect you. You're her whipping boy. And he's like, what makes you think that? Or what makes you say that? And she's just like, I mean, he's always paraphrasing like she says, you don't have motivation, you don't have drive, you don't have ambition and things like that. And he's like, that doesn't sound like Roxanne to me. Like, she only complains about work. And I know the things she criticizes me, and like, she doesn't just criticize like that. So it was like, he knows his girl. And it's like, for me right now, I'm thinking like, okay, you're being in denial. Like this is what it's made it look like so far up until this point in the season. And Alex asks, what do your parents think? What did your parents say about Roxanne? What do they think about her? And Alex is beating around the bush, and he's like did they like Kat? Like, did they like Kat her better, or did they like Roxanne for you better? Like, what did they want? And basically said like they had a lot of questions for Roxanne, and Roxanne answered them well, and it's like they liked her or whatever. But like I said, she's fun to be with in short bursts or whatever. But basically, Alex was just like, this guy's BSing. I don't believe a word that's coming out of his mouth. He's trying to sabotage the relationship. I think he's just trying to like I've been through so many people trying to take my girl at this point that this looks all too familiar, and it's like I think you're BSing. And he basically just says like, you're like, talk shit to my face. You're like, stop bullshitting or whatever. Like, that's it. I'm like, he was at this point, Antonio's hot, upset, insecure, and I'm just like, hey, Antonio, chill, relax. Like, Alex on his point, Alex on his game is like, relax. But it's like, at this point, it's like, Alex is acting weird in a sense. I don't know what his freaking like what his ulterior motive is in this. But that's how the episode ended. So y'all, like, he said, you're her whipping boy. We didn't hear that. So if Roxanne did that, like, Roxanne ain't shit. Roxanne ain't nothing. Like, Roxanne, you're like, you don't respect him. That's your whipping boy. No, we not having that, Roxanne. We are not having that. But that's it for this video. Y'all like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what y'all think. I'll be back with another review for episode 7. I'll holler at you later. You dig?
I may shed some tears cause I'm not supposed to be here. Bad bitch that showed me she cared, so why would I care?